I got it. Okay, so I've got my own timer too, but you can time me, Tiffany.
Okay, I will do that.
No. So, as many of you know, or may have not known, I'm from Saturn. This is my home planet. And,
Use the arrows.
oh, that's it.
Yeah, the arrows are keywords, right?
Okay, so.
Next slide.
Oh, thank you.
There you
Okay.
go.
All right, so I was born in 1961 on Saturn. 61 is also the only year besides year 0 and 1 that you can turn upside down and it would still be the same year. My Saturn birth name is Sid Yiddish. All right, Ham the astrochimp, who also went on a secret NASA mission in late 1961 to go to Saturn to kidnap me and bring me back home to Earth. Mission was accomplished. Previously, he was shot into space and secretly went to Saturn to observe Saturnian behavior at close range. Officials did report that Ham went into space in early 1961. Okay. Oops. To go back, I think.
Use the up arrow.
Oh, the up.
There you go.
Oh, no, there we go. Thank you. Okay. So, if you happen to notice the tracking device on my right leg, that would dog me for years. See, I was born on Saturn in a blinding, blistering snowstorm, which would account for my susceptibleness to cold in my later years, you know, like frostbite. There we go. Okay, so this is a picture of an Earth nurse holding me for an official CIA FBI file in an underground bunker. So my official Earth name is Charles Bernstein.
We'll just press it one more time.
Okay.
Yeah, because you have the
There we go.
timer.
Okay, well, I'm kidnapped yet again by a strange Earth female and taken to an unknown location for observational purposes. To the right, that is my Earth sister. All right.
Twice.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so I'm adjusting to Earth life. Now, this is my 5th birthday. I'm at an undisclosed normal suburban home in December 1966. Background is on the bookshelf. You can see all of my school books in which I was re-educated with. The crown that's attached to my head is an actual attachment. Whoops. Sorry. Come on. There we go. I was actually, I was like one of those odd kids that had to wear a hat everywhere I went. And this replaced the leg tracking device. Now, the doll-like astronaut figure you see is the token model of what my father looked like on Saturn. Now, to the left of me is my Earth brother. Okay. All right, now. I was encouraged to join up with what Earth people call Cub Scouts. They earn silver and gold arrows for learning different skills like cooking over an open fire, sewing, reading, poetry. And although these arrows are pointing downward, they're meant to do that sort of as a signal to fellow sanitarians. Damn it! There we go. Fellow sanitarians, in case I'm found and they can bring me back safely to Saturn. So these arrows are also considered a tracking device to keep tabs on me at all times. And I was 9 at this point. Okay, this is my first attempt at writing poetry, spring 1974. There we go. Okay, by 79, there were 3 assassination attempts made on my life on Earth here, and they were all 3 thwarted by this man on the far left. His name is Otto Karbusky. An oven blew up in his face and blew his face off. So at this point, I was writing poetry and short stories, and I begun studying journalism. Whoops. Okay, come on. And you see those other 2 guys there? They're FBI decoys. All right, so during the 80s, I was hired by the Reagan administration to rove around as a journalist to uncover the strange phenomenon of people like that. Okay. So this is one of my best-known earliest poems. It's also a code for Saturn. It's all-out war like Earth. All right, this is my first solo spoken word poetry CD album. It's entitled Birth Death. The themes revolve around my early life on Saturn and my Earth kidnapping. Dang Okay, so we're fast forwarding to 2004. My career is now in publishing. I'm still writing some poetry. But as you know, on the 4th of June in 2004, Reagan had died. And just before he leaves, okay. Well, anyway, can I go or no?
You could, yeah, just.
Let's see the images.
wrap up. You can,
All right. Well, just before Reagan leaves Earth, he sends me a message on a flaming pie, and he tells me to become a performer. So I honored his request, and I performed my first performative piece called "Pin the Quote in Reagan's Mouth," and the prize was an authentic 1980 Reagan bumper sticker. And I performed it on the night of his death in a suburban coffee house, and I was banned from the coffee house, and my career finally began. Okay.
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 Do you have any last contextualization words to give us? Because I know you were kind of cut off, so.
Well, actually, this thing was supposed to go at 6 minutes and 40 seconds. But was it 6 minutes, 40 seconds?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's a Saturday time thing. I'm not sure. No, been just trying to get back home ever since. That's all I'm saying.
Can you just run through the last year's slides while we sit here? 'Cause
Yeah,
Sure.
I would like to see last.
All right, so this was my first Midwestern tour. It's Hebrew and Saturn influences. I was nominated like a year after that for an award called "What the Fuck Was That?" Let's see. All right. This one was my first tour date with Clean Boys Danish band. We worked together over Skype, recorded an album live over Skype. It was beamed back to the United States and Saturn. Okay, so this is my first appearance on a reality show, America's Got Talent. I didn't win. I throat sang, and I did an impression of a female deer. Piers Morgan made fun of me. Sharon Osbourne couldn't look me in the eye. She's Jewish too. And How I Met Bill asked all the questions. This was in Minneapolis. I'm backstage with Nick Cannon. Oops, as you can very well tell, with Nick. He didn't know what to think. And then, so I returned to America's Got Talent in 2013, and Scary Spice ironically remarked, "What the fuck was that?" So things come full circle.
What did you perform? Throat singing?
No, in 2013 I brought my band Candy Store Henchmen with me. Okay, so this is at the end of the first year of grad school. I was working on my performance piece called The Permission Project. It's a series of small gestures based on the idea of asking for permission. This was in Kenosha, Wisconsin. I'm wearing a newly created makeshift spacesuit. And this last one, going back to the roots of my performance art and music, it's one of the several bands that I formed over the last couple of years. It's also a better spacesuit. It has a tiny jet-powered silk umbrella. It can fly me back to Saturn anytime I like. So, Earth's okay, but it's not for me.
It's okay. Isn't there something called Earth's okay, but no, I'm totally thinking. I remember like there being a kid's book. Earth's So are you a fan of Silverado?
It's,
Okay. I just wanted to know.
yeah.
Just wanted to make sure. Just wanted to make sure, because if you weren't, I'd be like, what? No.
Yeah, he's my uncle.
I wonder, because I mean, you've talked before and done like presentations where you're like very sort of withheld, and right now there's definitely recording devices that you've established in the room. I wonder if that's sort of a necessary means for you to come out of that. Only because I know you so well, and you're such a sweet person in real life.
In real life.
No, I just have them there, it's just in case, so I can prove to people, back up on Saturn and I'm doing something really useful.
he pretty consistently has recording devices for most of these presentations that he has.
This is true.
How do we Earthlings see what you're projecting into Saturn? Like what? Like I see this one photo that you have this altar persona, but is there are you concealing? This is such a weird thing to talk
You can
about.
ask me anything you like.
It's-
I'll answer this.
You're bringing us into this other world, yet you haven't really like shown us what this other world is. I don't know. I guess I'm wondering about
Our place almost. Like, what is our place as your audience?
Well, I'm actually thinking, why Saturn? You know, that's and I get that. I'm trying to,
Tell him you just can't. Tell him you just can't. Okay.
but I hear a lot of things. More of us speaking of it in reference, and then it seems as though to me it just could have been anything. You could have chose Pluto for anything, or any, or any of the other gaseous planets as well.
Mars isn't even a planet to me, so don't.
Well, let's think the gaseous planets. Well, there's so much that goes into Saturn that makes me think, trying to think back at this persona that's created, I'm left wondering, okay, why not just some other random planet?
Because Saturn speaks to me on a level the way sports speaks to people, or like cars speak to guys, or
Gender.
to Kellen, to answer your question, I'm slowly coming out of that sort of phase where I'm kind of showing, I guess where I'm sort of where I'm from and where I'm heading to. Like, I guess it's the best way to describe it. This is to more or less because most of you know my work from here, but you don't know where I came from per se. I guess that's the best way to phrase it or frame it, maybe.
So, okay. I am personally all for and really excited about the idea of sort of like performative and like character-based and like fictive interventions into the like formal presentation on your work format. I think that's really exciting. I think if you're going to do that, you need to do it more. Like, you need to do it more compactly and in a more structured and clearly like sort of theatricalized way. I think that it needs to be like more in the realm of the performative. Right now, it's hard to tell if you are performing or if you just don't have your shit together, and I don't think that's the case, but like it's sort of not quite pushed into the performative realm yet. Enough.
Yeah, a way to choreograph that for some ideas. This weekend when I was at that conference that I was talking about, there was a person that specifically talked about Namjoon Paik's Good Morning, Mr. Orwell. Have you ever sat through like a few hours of that telebroadcast or know anything about it? It's kind of amazing, and I think you really like it. It's
Name again is.
so Namjoon Paik. He got some sort of a deal with PBS on 1984 right on New Year's Day, and did like a 24-hour broadcast that was from New York to San Francisco to Paris, and like people like Laurie Anderson came on, and they did a bunch of green screen stuff, but it was the way in which it was presented that they were constantly doing telematics, where one guy was talking to another guy in Paris, and you could choreograph a sort of telematics with yourself to Saturn and everything. You can really try to play with that time-space thing, because I think you're starting to do it with this presentation, but you could take that, like Sid said, you could take that way further. And to look at something like that might be helpful. And telematics and telematic art is amazing stuff, and I think it could really inform a bunch of what you're doing. All of Good Morning, Mr. Orwell, I think, is on YouTube. You can like sit and watch like all these like Oingo Boingo has a big set on there, which is amazing, by the way. The Laurie Anderson and what's his name from Genesis, not Genesis.
Peter Gabriel?
I keep on thinking Robert Palmer. It's not Robert. Peter Gabriel. They perform together this song called Birds, and it's amazing. You just gotta watch it. Oh, and George Plimpton is like the narrator. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. John Cage comes out and like plays a triangle or something. It's like everybody who's anybody. But the way in which they present it, it's like this is the future and this is outer space. It's just wonderful.
Well, even like the old time radio show type of stuff that you're dealing with too. Like I feel like that's sort of like kind of retro futuristic or like dated visions of the future kind of thing could really play into your aesthetic too. Like
Yeah, the anachronism part of it. It's so interesting, and the visuals from it are wonderful. Like there's a lot there. Yeah.
in some ways there was more open discussion about things like UFOs and other planets like in the 50s and 60s than there is kind of now too. I feel like you could, and that's kind of like when you were coming into the planet, so.
Interesting.
Yeah, unfortunately, J. Ellen Hynek is gone, you know, he can't help me anymore, so.
Just to let you guys know, Sherry Antonini's class is
Starting.
Yes. Yes. So we should take off. Thank you very much. All right.